experiencing more of what you are or what I am rather than what they are. That's the title of this. The reason that I decided to do another video this morning is because I listened to more of what Roy Potter was saying on his video this morning, which was wearing us out, separation, and what was the last part of that title? Detachment, okay? Which is really what it is when you think of what a detachment is, okay? I explained in a couple other videos detaching. Now, I have a different word that I use. It's called unplug. Log out. Log out of their data stream, okay? You're a computer terminal. You're in a simulator, okay? So when you're running their simulation, which is what evil is, which is based on power over others, then they're holding your mind captive to experience who they are rather than who you are. That's the nature of the game. That's what Roy Potter's talking about. And he mentioned a word where he said evil in the light, evil in the dark. Okay? That's how he's experiencing what he's experiencing, because he's not experiencing enough light and enough speed through his heart chakra to know that the light already won this. Okay? Now, I knew that as a child. That's why I'm in here. Okay? I logged out in 2016. Here's my timesheet. I'm done. So when I realized I was done, the rest is gravy. Okay? Now, I know this. Okay? He doesn't know that. He's experiencing all of his experiences and the sum of what those experiences mean, because let's face it, he worked out of the Pentagon with the Defense Intelligence Agency. So he knows how the energy that is used by the consciousness that he was sharing space-time with, what they represent, and what it is that in his heart, what he represents. So he perceives, based on the upbringing that he had, through the Bible that he uses as a frame of reference between, if you will, a creator being, okay, the source from which all light and all love come, okay, and how he experiences who he is in relationship to everything that is represented by what the Bible says. Now, when I read the entire Bible, I look at it, for example, through the lens of a filter. I filter what I know to be true and what I know to be false, or what we call false light. Now, I always try and use what I call qualifiers and givens, okay? I can't qualify all the data of everything that I'm aware of. Like sometimes, even when I'm with the light, another light warrior who has a website up and decides, for example, I'm going to cut off the circuit of transmission of that being who's communicating. Now, that being on the other side can't possibly know the underlying reason why I communicated what I did, unless that being on the other side is aware of everything that I'm aware of, which represents all the data that underlies the whole context for which I might say what I'm saying, because there's a method to the madness, particularly when you put the mirror up. Because when we look in the mirror, we're essentially looking at ourselves to say, who are we? So what we're really talking about here is the art of communication. It's impossible for me to explain all the data that I'm aware of that represents the underlying causality of everything I'm aware of unless I explain all the data. That's going to take a long time to do that. And even when I do that, all of that data represents essentially what is in the past, because when I explain it to you, it's already happened. You understand? So two things that I always keep in mind, which is what I know to be the truth. I'm in a planet ship. I'm inside of a light bulb. Okay? There's a goddess that I have a relationship with. Okay? In living spirit. That's a frame of reference that I had as a child. I'm always with her. This is her classroom. I know that. I knew that without anybody having to tell me that. Because I'm experiencing who she is, what it is I am in relationship, which is the difference between the two. So the way that I perceive it is much in the same way as I perceive the relationship I had with my biological mother. Which means when I look at my father and I look at my mother, and if I want to think about my behavior, okay, it is more painful for me to know or experience that I have done something or behaved in a way that disappointed my mother more than my father. Why is that? Because it was my mother who carried me in her womb, who took care of me when I couldn't take care of me. So I know how much love my mother has in her heart. The same way I know how much love that Gaia has in hers. Because she's the one who gave me this heart to experience her with in here. So I know how powerful her spirit is. Okay? This is her classroom. I'm an Indian. Okay? So nobody's going to fool me. Okay? Because I know what the truth is. I've already had a conversation. I said, listen, girl, whatever you got to do, you got to do. You'd be surprised what she could do. She was moving the poles. Okay? That's a crustal displacement. So all these big power players in here who think that they want to play the Game of Thrones, okay, and hold everything captive, can go bye-bye. Okay? I am very aware of everything that she is capable of doing. Okay? As Patty once said, she's moving the poles very gently. Well, if I was her and I was moving the poles, I would move them gently too. So that the speed at which you're experiencing the changes that are taking place, that are being initiated by her, you become aware of. And when you become aware of what she's doing, then there is an underlying context in why it's happening, isn't there? What Roy Potter doesn't seem to realize, because of the context through which he filters what he's experiencing in relationship to all the other players who do what they do, in this case, the evil stuff, you have to put it in a much larger context of realizing where you're really at. You're in a classroom. They are very big, powerful players outside of this classroom that have a lot to say about what happens, including beings that are in higher density, that know everything that is happening within here. Okay, so I know these things. I rely upon them to make the decisions that are going to be in the best interest of the all, which means what is in for the greatest good of the entire cosmos. Because it ain't about just us. It's about everything. Because I realize, because of the amount of light I have through my heart, how big and vast the cosmos is that is out there to experience. So I sometimes look about as just being like a little tiny unit of consciousness that's in a little tiny particle of sand that's here 1 second, gone the next. Because that's how fast it moves. That's how fast I experience the events that occur one after each other, that go on forever. So the last thing that I ever worry about is being in fear of people who accumulate so much energy, okay, and then use that energy to wage war against us and a girl on the planet. You're going to lose that game. Okay? You want to take on a goddess? and think that you're going to win against her? That's the protest against stupidity. This is why, if there's one thing that sort of, I can laugh about it on one side of an emotion, get angry on another side of the emotion, and then know what the truth is. You're not going to win a war against a goddess. Okay? She is a forever being. She is a powerful spirit. She's a mother goddess. I'm in one of her creations. I use it to communicate with everybody that's here and have as much fun as I possibly can while I'm here doing it. So, he's right about a lot of stuff. I had a long conversation one night when I was sitting on the beach in a timeless state and had some powerful spirits come and visit me, and I put my 2 cents worth into the hopper. Okay? Because I know they listen to me. Because they know how deep my heart goes. Okay? How much love I have to give to every unit of consciousness in the entire cosmos. Because any time that I'm losing any energy, which means I'm experiencing anything that is living in spirit, losing any energy, I got to restore it. Because that means I'm losing a part of what I am, of everything I give love to. And that's simple. And when you know that as a child, you know where you fit in the entire cosmos. So this again goes back to an identity function. What is the function for why you're here? Right? So everybody's got to answer that question, don't they? Who are we? What are we doing here? Why are we here? It's a training simulator. Because of all the different words that we can use to describe how we experience who we are, I walked up to about 25 guys, I think I mentioned this one time before, over on the Big Island of Hawaii in a beautiful park where a lot of families always go because I love that energy with children and their mothers and their fathers. Okay? Which is what I've always tried to suggest. Hang out where the energy is always better. Go to a park. Go be in nature. Go spend some time with her. Hang out with a tree. The energy will feel better. You begin to realize, hey, this is a real cosmos. You begin to realize the power of everything that is here that you can experience. There are bigger spirits in this game that put their foot down. I watched so many of them come in here. All those ships that came in here, like Battlestar Athena, the Blue Kachina, okay, didn't come in here to play tiddlywinks. You got to put that into the hopper, into the concept. Plug that in as more data that we're aware of. And Patty Prasad provides a wealth of that information on Project Ascension. That'll widen the scope of what we're aware of and why these changes are taking place. Okay? They're done. It's game over. They're done playing power games over people's lives, stripping souls out of bodies, and stealing energy. That's over, and I know that. She took the gloves off. When Patty Broussard said Gaia took the gloves off, she's the girl on the planet. Okay? This is her classroom. So that's all I need to know. So it's just like, hang out for the rest. Okay? Which means anything could happen at any moment, and I'm ready for that. So for me, because of the nature of my spirit, I've got to be with the goddess. Okay? There's one of those in me. So when I'm in alignment with a mother goddess, I'm in a state of bliss. I'm experiencing the essence of her spirit. And I love to be with her spirit. The same way I love to be with my mother. When I used to have nightmares when I was a little boy, I didn't run to my father, even though my father would protect me. I ran to my mother. Why does a little boy run to his mother? Because he was running to the birth giver of creation. Nobody has more love to give you as a little boy than your mother does. Well, that same mother, that same love is the girl in the planet. That means that my spirit, our spirits are protected through her spirit, her energy, her light, her love. You can't weaponize that girl any more than you can weaponize my spirit. Because the amount of love and the amount of light that I have in my heart that is connected to all the love and all the light in the entire cosmos is what we use to experience who we are, that goes on forever. So I'll leave everybody for that to think about, whoever chooses to watch this video. I know what the truth is. It's what love is. It's what light is. That's what it means to be in living spirit, why we hold all life sacred. Because that's the energy that we use to celebrate life with. Okay? We're more powerful than they are. And you know how that becomes so easy to know? Because in order for them to gain the power that they perceive themselves to be through who they are, is by accumulating energy, stealing electrons, and using the electrons as a basis for their power. Which means they're small. They don't really have any power at all. Because the real power in the cosmos is the spirit, the power of the light that the girl has in this planet, a sun. They're not more powerful than a sun. Those are the energy service providers in the cosmos. Okay? We don't need to acquire energy from anybody but to be what we are. We use the energy of the universe to go faster with and become larger in power and spirit, from which we can give more energy away to everybody. That's not what they do. So they represent an inversion of what it is that we are. So the cosmos has a way of eliminating or erasing or preventing things like that from getting away from itself, which is no different than a parasite that is reproducing itself and getting larger and larger and consuming more of what it is that we are. So at some point, the foot has to come down. So who do you know puts their foot down first? Says, stop. That's enough. Your mother, our mother, the girl on the planet, she put her foot down. That's enough. So it's over. Have a great day.